person that I get nervous in front of, so I have cue cards. Most of you see me without cue cards, but he's the reason why these cue cards are there. The next person is a person, when you talk about fashion, beauty and culture colliding, she's become the northern star that guides. She stopped every chart in India and now she's making India proud. You know, I know you're excited to see her. I know you don't even need the introduction. So I'm just going to skip to the very end and say she's the Rani of a billion young hearts. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for Alia. And I've left him for the last. Guys, you need to be silent and let me finish these introductions. Otherwise, they'll say, for Karan, you gave such a long introduction. For us, it's only one line. But this man is a person whose energy I think all of us out here and on screen cannot match. He's the living embodiment of a Bollywood movie on a caffeine high. He's a force of energy, a fireball of talent, and a man who defines the very word entertainment. From the swagger of Bittu Sharma to the formidable warrior Bajirao Mastani, and from Kabir Mehra to Kapil Dev, he breathes life into every character he embraces. The very definition, in my humble opinion, of Bollywood's irrepressible spirit. After you, wherever. Calm here. There was, yeah, but that's okay, wherever. The director got it. The director directed it eventually. Yes, well, thank you. I promise that was not planned. But thank you for doing this, the three of you. It means a lot. And you know, the really exciting part about this is I love the energy out here. But there are 50,000 of these that are online from Srinagar, as you will see on the screen, from Srinagar to Kanyakumari and Agartala to Ahmedabad. A huge round of applause for all those guys on the screen. Yeah. From the Zoom, yeah. Yeah, look. You know, and I want to start with, I told them right at the start that the three of you think that these are the smartest young people in the country and the smartest young people in the country, so we should be well behaved. But as soon as the three of you came out, then I think everybody got into the Bollywood spirit that we so much love. But let me start by asking you this. You know, I yet have nervous energy when I go back to school because you were standing in front of your school principal. Here you're not standing in front of principals from one school, but you're standing in principals from 100 plus cities and 100 plus principals who are in front of us.
It wasn't me.
How does it feel to go back to school?
I think we should really ask this question first to Alia because it's more recent in her memory. My school memories date back 36 years. So Alia, how does it feel to go back to school? She's a proud Jamna Bai.
Yeah, I'm a Jamna Bai. But to me, like my school time was the best memories I made. I had sometimes like vivid dreams about, hanging out with my friends by the water cooler and PT class and bunking class and all this stuff. And I actually, my grain of being an actor started from there. I did all that theatre and participated in all possible competitions. It feels great to be back to school. I always get nervous in front of principals, so I will always say good morning ma'am, good morning sir, and try and just stay out of the way because actually I'm very naughty at heart.
And what about Ranveer?
All you naughty kids, if you're naughty, it's okay.
You believe that?
You might turn out all right.
You were also naughty, I feel.
You think?
Yeah.
I was a terror.
Actually, you were telling us something very important right now in the green room. Why don't
Yeah.
we share that with everyone?
Yeah, I used to participate in Model United Nations. I was a very accomplished delegate. Multiple time best delegate winner. Ranveer Singh.
Wow. No, but and Karan, I want to ask you this. You've been a principal to generations of Bollywood stars, whether it's Alia, whether it's Ranveer, whether it's anybody else. Therefore, I'm not going to start with you right now, and I'm going to first ask this to Ranveer and Alia. How is Karan Johar as the principal of a movie? Is he like the strict Amitabh Bachchan from Mohabbati? Or is he like the dramatic Miss Braganza from Kuch Kuch Hota Hai? Who is Karan Johar as the principal of a movie?
आप बताएं, what do you think? Is he Prerna Pratishtha or Anushasan? Or is he Miss Braganza? Aha!
Okay, I think Karan is Karan. There's no one like Karan. We need to make a new character for him. Huh?
Well said. I think Karan is no school principal. Karan is a student of life, art and creativity.
Now they put Karan on a pedestal which is compared to nobody else, but you deserve it. Karan, therefore my question to you is,
But
cinema.
I'll tell you why I say that. It's because here's one man, if I know one, who wears his stature very, very lightly. He's one of the most eminent and prominent figures in the history of Indian entertainment. His contribution cannot be emphasized enough, and he's still going. In fact, he's just getting started. But he's so cool and casual about it, He never imposes his stature upon you. He always speaks to you like an equal. He has respect for everybody. He treats everybody the same. And he is one of the most remarkable individuals that I've had the good fortune of knowing and collaborating with.
How lovely. Huge round of applause for Karan Johar. Now I have many a story about the same thing where he's essentially a person who is approachable, and when you meet him at that juncture, of course when you see him, you know it's Karan Johar, but if he were just to simply talk to you, you would say that this is another person who believes in young India and therefore is able to make movies that young India loves. So thank you Karan for doing what you do. But let me come to this. Many say that cinema is a reflection of society, but I personally think that society is also a reflection of cinema, and it influences young impressionable minds. Today, with the advent of OTT, it is allowed for creative freedom, but many people feel that it's redefining the cultural fabric of our country. What are your thoughts about this, and put Rocky and Rani in context, your new film in context of this?
What a loaded question to begin with. And it's critical to answer this from the most honest space possible. So firstly, I do believe that cinema is a reflection of society and vice versa, because it also draws from, literally sometimes they say that, there's an exaggeration in Indian cinema, but a lot of those situations depicted on celluloid are actually very, very close to reality. And as a filmmaker, I've only drawn from human observation of the community that surrounds me, the society we live in, the people I interact with. It's very critical that you understand the syntax of your surroundings, and then as a writer, as a filmmaker, you tell that story. Of course, some of us who've grown up in urban India have a certain understanding of those dynamics and relationships, and there are some others who are privileged enough to actually be exposed to the rest of India, can tell those stories with equal abandon. I do believe that the content today is definitely broadening the human spectrum where it comes to, I think, relationships and pushing the envelope and not sugarcoating it and not doing puff pieces of love and romance. We are showing the gray areas, and you have to know, as students, you have to know that life is way beyond black and white. We walk the path of gray every day, and that's not a bad thing, because gray is a representation of your vulnerable side, of your true side. And I think whether it's OTT platforms, streaming services, or new age cinema, all of that actually exposes the vulnerabilities of human beings. And I think that's the strength of our content today. It's not about depicting dark characters and pushing the boundaries where it comes to showing things that are explicit. It's really actually about showing the grey. I've seen so many series actually that just speak about the grey. In cinema though, we like the larger than life, over the top, melodramatic storytelling, which also what audiences want when they go into a cinema hall. They don't want to see that the harsh realities of life. They do want to see the celebration of life. Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahaani is way beyond just being a Prem Kahaani. It actually speaks about so many things, which is not reflective in the promotions of the film or the content and units that we put out there. It's actually talking about so much more. It's probably, I think, my most commentary-based film, but it's not in the garb of anything preachy. It's actually the garb of entertainment, which is the best way I believe that you can actually express something, is actually coat it with entertainment and it gets better understood. Maverick filmmakers like Rajkumar Hirani have actually done that so beautifully, and this film is actually a step in that right direction. When you see the character of Rocky and Rani and their individual families, there's a lot to kind of absorb and learn, but also be very humored by. It's a film that I was actually dying to tell, and sequences in the film will remain with me as my most favorite moments in my trajectory as a filmmaker.
Wow, so this is by far,
And what a huge honor it is for us to be a part of that. I mean, it's Karan Johar. This is the maker of Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham. Like, these are iconic films that we've grown up on. So for you to say that means a lot, Karan.
And I do believe that, and I also feel like I've grown as an individual from the first film to this, because when I remember I made Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, and I firmly believe that the gender politics of that film are all wrong. They're all wrong. It is propagating incorrect gender politics, because it's about, there is a lot of surfaceness in that film, but of course you have nostalgia, so you love it, but you don't scratch the surface of the film and see that what Rahul is doing is actually not something that I wish the Rahuls in this audience, representing all the boys in this audience, would be.
Woke zamane mein nahi chalti kuch kuch.
It's not about the woke, it's about what the dynamics you show in cinema and how it is a strong representation of how it can translate into belief today. Rahul was like saying all wrong things. He was saying, "Hum ek hi baar jeete, ek baar marte." That's all everybody knows. Hum ek baar pyar karte, but he got in love twice. Hum ek baar shaadi karte, he got married twice. So he was contradicting himself through the film. And then I remember Shabana asked me,
Don't you cancel my Rahul.
yeah, there's that. That's what I was going to say. It was one of the best movies that you've seen.
No.
Yeah.
It's one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
No, I think he means that if you were to release that
Yes.
today, a lot of those points would come across.
Yeah.
But I also look at it in a way that he said all those things, but he contradicted himself and he had growth, which was also what you're talking about, Grey.
But I'm
That was so
talking-
current even at that time.
But I'm also talking about the growth that possibly my storytelling has taken, because today my Rahul wouldn't be so surface about his choices, I remember
But
Shabana
you
asked
made
me,
some really mature themes as well, like My Name is Khan.
yes,
Aise Mushkil.
that happened all later. That happened later. But I was like, I remember Shabana.
And then Student of the Year, like the deepest one
The
of them all.
deepest film, yes. Absolutely spoke about the Student of the Year was my deepest cinematic. work. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I know we're saying this in humor, but it was deep of me to understand the genius of Alia Bhatt even then. I think my deepest contribution to Indian cinema has been the prolific Alia Bhatt. I mean, when I saw Gangubai, I was like, I was like, how is she doing this? Who is this person? Who is this person? Who is this actor? When did she grow up? Like, when did, because I've seen her like my own child. Like, my parental instinct came when I got to know her. And I'm like, my daughter is like playing this incredible part with such abandon. And I mean, I was like, this is not thanks to me. This is something she's done on her own. I haven't taught her any of that. She actually went on her highway all on her own. And I think now, as directing her this time and directing both of them, and I think I've taken over from where Rishabh started and started monitoring this session. But I have to say this, that I worked with both these actors, and I couldn't annul the fact that I directed Alia before because she was another actor. I didn't know her as the way she is today. I don't know that Alia Bhatt. I know this Alia Bhatt. I know this Ranveer Singh. And I had one chameleon as an actor. Ranveer is nothing short of a chameleon. He gets into the skin of the character in a way where you forget he's Ranveer Singh and start looking and believing that he's Rocky Randhawa. When you see the film, you will forget he is Ranveer Singh, just the way you forgot he was Ranveer Singh in '83, or Jayesh Bhai Jordar, or Bajirao Mastani, or Alauddin Khilji. One of my closest friends saw the film and said, I want to be Rocky's friend. And that is what the feeling I hope that all of you get, that you hope that you have a Rocky in your group of friends. Both of these actors were feeding off each other's brilliance in a way that only a director can hope and imagine for. I was just sitting awestruck behind the monitor and hoping that, you know, the shot doesn't end, the take doesn't get over, because they just are something totally special. You saw a beat of that, or rather much more a beat of their initial chemistry in Gully Boy. And there were 8 scenes they had together, and every time they came on, I was like, these are my favorite parts of Gully Boy. And when I met them, and I was like, just give me a dose of that chemistry and take over as Rocky and Rani, and we'll have our Prem Kahaani.
Oh, nice, fantastic. And you know, Karan should have moderated the session, I think. That would have been that would have been beautiful. But the way you've covered the entire thing, and I want to just build on from that, because you beautifully brought out a few things which lead into my next question, which is, I've always felt, I did a little bit of theatre, could never reach where you all have reached, but I did a little bit of theatre, and I always felt that when you do theatre, when you act, it's like studying subjects, right? Like you're studying maths and history. There is no commonality between maths and history, but at the same point in time, there may be some parts of maths and some parts of history that may come together. Now, don't ask me how. Perhaps we can ask them how. But I want to ask you this. Is there a way that when you perform a particular role, like say for example, when you acted, like he rightly said, as Kabir Mehra, or when you perform Gangubai, do you bring on those to your new characters which are Rocky and Rani? Or is that a completely different subject, like how technically maths and history are completely different subjects? So is that the case? Or is there some thing that goes on from one character into the other?
Well, I think it's more like an exam. You know, the beats are more or less the same. You prepare for it, you study for it. This is my process personally. You do your homework, and then you learn everything, and hope that you absorbed all of it, because when the time comes, it should be retained in your system. When the exam date, which is the shoot date for us, comes up, you kind of revise everything that you've studied, and then, you know, it's like show time is like game time for an athlete, or exam time for a student. So the beats are very similar in that sense.
You know, I also feel like it depends on how you choose your characters and how you place your films. Because if you're doing, say, love story, then there's bound to be some trickle effect of those characters into each other. But if you do a love story, then you do a drama, then you do a comedy, then you do a thriller, you try and find people who are very different from each other so that they don't overlap into each other. So you get these words like chameleon, you get to say that, oh, she's or he's so versatile. At the end of the day, you want to be slipping into what you're doing?
Just distracting.
Okay.
Trying to focus on your answer. There is a lot to learn from you as an actor.
But now I forgot what I was saying. Basically, you understood, na? कि एक अलग होना
What
चाहिए
is your,
दूसरे से.
how are you in maths?
How was I in maths? See, they are already laughing because they are like, ये तो मतलब ये तो
It's rather presumptuous of you guys.
No, actually, honestly, guys, I was not bad till
Oh.
a certain grade.
Okay.
Then I decided कि I'm not dissing maths. Maths is great but if you need it in your profession, then you should focus. Then I decided, पर ये तो चाहिए ही नहीं. तो मैं क्यों इतना focus करूँ? Why am I working so hard? There was a competitive spirit within me which needed to kind of do it. But I didn't drop maths. I had the option of dropping it. I didn't drop it. I took
This
it.
is good.
Maths is rubbish. You don't need it in life. Yeah, baby. Yeah, right.
But there may be some students working hard at maths and you just told them they don't need it in life. Poor things, they're going to feel so sad and confused.
Trigonometry, algorithm, chalna, yaar, chalna.
All of you don't like maths? Make some noise.
You know actually where maths helps you. It's not the numbers and the calculation and the formula that you need to be quick with forming. It helps you in your day-to-day life to be able to think on your feet and to be able to make most with what you have and make दो का दो, चार का चार, उसमें मिल करके A into B into C into R, whatever. You know. But the point is, it should prepare you for life. And I feel there should be a whole separate subject which is dealing with life.
वो कोस्टा थीटा ये वो आज तक मैंने यूज नहीं किया.
See, they're doing it. I'm
I'm
not
not
doing anything.
dissing maths, sir. I'm just letting you know.
Oh, the math god will be so upset.
They may.
with me.
But Ranveer was
Option, मेरे जमाने में ऑप्शन क्यों नहीं था यार ड्रॉप करने का? आजकल के बच्चे लोग को.
Ranveer, is there a subject that you didn't like? आपको पसंद नहीं था?
Which one do you think, sir? Which one do you think?
Which one do you guys think that you didn't like?
Mathematics. Mathematics.
Mathematics.
Yeah. मतलब मैं तो 5वीं में 5 बार फेल.
I didn't like science. I used to cry in my exam.
But there are 3 prongs in science. There's chemistry, biology, and physics.
So bio I loved.
हाँ.
Chem we have. Physics मेरे को तो कुछ समझ में नहीं आया. मैं क्या बोल रही थी मुझे कुछ समझ नहीं आया.
Mind that doesn't appreciate, understand math and stuff, invariably you're not going to like physics. It's the same.
I just didn't understand physics.
No, that is like.
But when I look at my daughter, I say, "तू तो scientist बनेगी," because I couldn't be a scientist.
No, this by far was a part of the discussion which all of them related to. I think majority of them related to, even I related to, saying mathematics was not the strongest suit. But Karan, before I move on to the next one, I must ask you and bring you in as well. If you were to say that there was one subject that was your least favorite subject, which one would it be?
Karan is a topper.
So all subjects are.
A 90 plus student, ladies and gentlemen.
So-
Karan Johar is a 90 plus student.
Yes. So that happened much later on in college, where I actually topped the state in my BCom.
Wow.
And my principal, Mrs. Indu Shani, called me in and said that the Bajaj, Institute of Management is offering you a seat to do, your further studies after my BCom. And I was like, no, but I want to make movies. And she looked at me and she said, then why did you study so hard? So I was like, oh, that was the reputation then of like people entering the movies. But to go back to my ICS examination, I had the strangest report card. In fact, the board wrote to my school and said that, can this child ask for a recount? Because I had 90, 92, 90, 90, 90, 45.
45.
And no prizes for guessing what that 45 was.
Maths.
So the thing with me and maths was that I had a very an anxious relationship with mathematics. Because as soon as the paper came in front of me, I would draw a blank. In those days, we had two math papers, Maths 1 and Maths 2. In Math 1, you had two, okay.
Yes.
In Math 1 was arithmetic primarily, and in arithmetic, I never understood anything. So I left out 40 marks in paper 1, and I think the rest of the 60, I must have got 20 right. At the break, we had 3 hours of a break between the two papers. I had a meltdown, like I collapsed in front of my teacher, and I said, I don't want to do maths too. And she kept saying, you cannot behave like this. And I was just saying, I can't do, I'll fail anyway, I can't do it, I can't do it. Somehow the other, my mother gave me some motivational lecture on the phone, and then I went and ate 2 large anniversary Cadbury bars. Because that's how I dealt with anxiety. It was chocolate. Not that I propagated, please don't. But I ate 2 bars, and it became like spinach to Popeye. And like I went on and I fought it like a war. And obviously when they asked me, do you want to do a recount? I'm like, no, I passed. I got 45. Please don't change these marks for anything. It just didn't work around. But you know the thing with ambition, and the thing with really proving that you can do something that you are weak and vulnerable about. I remember in F5 BCom, mathematics in commerce was compulsory back then. I was in HR college and I had to do mathematics, and it came back into my life in first year senior college. And I was like, this time I'm going to fight you. This time you're not going to let me kind of get bogged down by you. So I went to Mr. Saldana, who actually had these classes. I went there diligently and I got an 81 in every
Wow!
Karan, Johar.
It was not about the 81. It was about fighting your demons. And that's what I want to tell everyone out there. You will all have your vulnerabilities. You will all have your weaknesses. You can't just consider them weaknesses. You've got to convert them into your strengths. Because that's what will make you a world leader in any capacity.
So overcome those weaknesses from 45 to 81, and from 81 to now, millions of people who are watching these movies across. I think you've mastered maths much better than many people have.
No, I still don't get budgets and monies, but right now, I mean, now the time is for passion and not for like the money aspect of things.
No, but you've mastered the art of getting millions to the theaters, and that is the maths that you've mastered, and I think that's something that very few people have.
But that's emotional mathematics, and that we all have.
No, but he's very humble. The remaining subjects were 90.
Yeah.
The remaining subjects were 90, which he very casually mentioned, saying I got 92, 94, so and so. And there was only one subject that had 45. And from 45, he got that subject also to 81. So I think the real student of the year, or the student of the decade or decades, it's Karan Johar.
But you know, in student of the year, the one thing that we really missed out on projecting was the student aspect, because no one was really studying in that college for some reason. And I was like, they were cycling and they were in a triathlon, but like I was like, where were they actually studying? Someone asked me this question. I was like, yeah, I missed that beat. You know, it was like not something I'm very proud of, but like we did okay. We have Alia Bhatt, like I said, we did okay.
You did more than okay. Again,
अच्छा maths के marks की बात हो रही है. तो I would like to ask Alia, what is the lowest you've ever gotten in an exam?
8.
Nice. 8 on?
I don't know.
20,
I just
50,
remember it was
100?
number 8. I think it was not 8 on 10, obviously, otherwise I have to be high. Must have been 8 on something. It was 8 physics. I cried. I failed that subject. On 10 it was. 8 on 80. ऐसा कुछ होगा पर मैंने
8 on 80 कोई नहीं है, तो 8 on 50 होता है, 100 होता है.
80 भी होता है यार.
I just
20
remember it was 8. It was a very sad, and also I'm going to say something I'm not going to say.
Okay.
You just make
Karan,
make it fun of you.
Karan, lowest ever?
Mathematics 22
On?
on 100.
Okay.
24, 28. My prelims I was 32. I had a teacher called Mr. Sebastian, and he did the Navina for me. 9 Wednesdays he went to the church in Mahim, because he said, I've never had a student that will fail and you will be my first. So he did He did 9 Wednesdays, he went and did the Navina for me, I still remember. And when he came to me with tears in his eyes and he says, you got 45. I said, yes, and we hugged each other emotionally that we did it. Like that was how low he thought of me in that subject.
Amazing.
You have been asking
आप बताएं.
the lowest that
Lowest.
lowest I've scored was I think 14 on 50. Which was very
That's
good.
pretty low.
And
I think mine also must have been 58 on.
and this was
Anybody in the audience have a candidate for record for lowest ever in an examination? Yes, जनाब, जो आप तो उतावले हो रहे हैं बताने के लिए बताएं. इतनी excitement अपने failure को report करने के लिए बताएं.
You learn more from your failures than you do with your successes, by the way.
Oh,
No one should be scared of failing.
2 out of 100.
We have a 2 out of 100 going once, going twice.
And the
Anybody
winner
else?
is-
Lower.
And the winner is
No, the winner.
which subject?
Excuse, madam.
Maths.
Excuse, madam. मैं भी
Gia.
हूँ इस game में.
Sorry,
By the
sorry,
way,
sorry.
don't declare the winner just
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
Okay, 2 on 100. Anybody
2 on 100
lower?
match,
Anybody
Gia.
lower? Wow. इतने excitement के साथ बता रहे. देखो हम fail हो गए. हाँ बताओ यार.
I think now they just, huh?
चिल्ला के बोल. इतना excitement है तो चिल्ला के बोल. मैं fail हो गया. Did not appear is not. This not doesn't qualify. You?
Wow!
0 on 100.
You
क्या
didn't see
बात है
that?
मेरे शेर. 0 on 100. Okay.
Arey, but the one who did not appear is the principal of the school now. Such a success story.
देखें, अगर आप फेल हो गए तो कोई बात नहीं. आगे जाके आप करण जौहर भी बन सकते हैं. आप स्कूल के प्रिंसिपल भी बन सकते हैं. क्या बात है सर आपकी. यू हैव फाउंड द फाउंटेन ऑफ यूथ. आपको देख के लगता नहीं किसी एंगल से आप प्रिंसिपल हैं. अब बकायदा कॉलेज गोइंग बॉय लग रहे हैं. एनीवे, बैक टू द गेम. और कोई है 0 on 100 से कोई लोअर लाया है? मैं लाया हूं. जिसको मिला था मैथ में अंडा. 0 on 100, -10 for talking. So -10 on 100.
You were talking while achieving the grand zero.
I was trying. हाथ पैर मार रहे थे सर एग्जाम हॉल में. कुछ तो हो जाएगा. Oh God.
You know, but this is the thing that we love about this guy, that and the way he's projected and portrayed it, and it's actually true. Irrespective of the one thing, I think one summary that we took is they're great in their academics also. But even if you are bad at something in life, eventually you're going to come out on top as long as you have the right role models, and as long as you have a principal that looks that.
But you know what the learning is? Truly, there is a deep learning here. Is that life doesn't stop there. It's not the be-all and end-all. If you fail, take a leaf out of Karan Johar's book. Make that 4581. Tomorrow is another day.
And you know,
Wake up, put your mind to it, work harder, and make your weaknesses into your strengths.
And also the most important thing, the emphasis on failure and then the overemphasis on success. The only way to really beat the system is to not fight it at all, firstly, and treat your failures like you treat your successes, because both of them should be immaterial eventually. The moment you start propping success and putting it on a pedestal, and the moment you drop yourself when you fail, both are going to serve you absolutely nothing in the long run of life. Deal with both in the same way and you'll find your balance.
Very well answered. Which is well said that they make for perfect role models. But let me come to the next part about this beautiful movie, which I'm sure many of you are excited to see. How many of you are excited to see Rocky and Rani Kii Prem Kahaani? Make some noise. I can't hear the first floor and the second floor. Make some noise, guys. Excellent. So, I must come to you guys and ask you this. Rocky is projected as somebody who's a loud and flamboyant person, and Rani is this intellectual Bengali journalist. Karan, your style is as loud, according to a lot of people, as anybody else. But at the same point in time, there is no gossip in Bollywood or across the country that goes that goes without your knowledge. So, is it fair to assess that you have a little bit of both Rocky and Rani in your personality?
I do actually. Actually, I do. I'm in any case, I'm Gemini, and you get two for the price of one. I am a split personality, and I'm actually split between Rani and Rocky. So they were both born from me because I have both the flamboyance of Rocky, not in exactly the intellect, but I'm a huge feminist, and that is what Rani stands for. She's a feminist. And she is very, very strong about her perspective. And the vulnerability of Rocky is that while he's flamboyant, he's also immensely likable and has his heart on his sleeve and also tells you when he doesn't know something. And that's important because the three words that we rarely use but we should at every given point is, I don't know. There are many things we don't know, and you shouldn't feel bad to say Rocky is that character who actually says that very, very openly. I don't know. I have no clue because he was not raised in that manner, whereas she was. And there's a lot that she doesn't know that he has an emotional understanding of. So yeah, I'm split between Rocky and Rani. And unfortunately, I don't have a Prem Kahaani.
Do you know, whilst being directed by Karan, oftentimes I turn to him and I say, how can you, because he has such an understanding of a very, very deep and astonishing at times understanding of human beings. And interpersonal relationships are so beautifully portrayed in his cinema. I sometimes I'm bewildered. Like, how can you be so masculine and so feminine at the same time?
Correct.
It's like when he's talking to me like a bro, you know. And then oftentimes both of us, you know, when we'll become aunties also, you know, gossiping. क्या पहन के आई है Balenciaga, क्या बात है, very nice, you know. So he can be, Karan is that Gemini dichotomy, you know, where he can be deadly serious and also light-footed at the same time, deeply intellectual, yet you know, silly and foolish at times when he is in a fun mood. And that's why I consider him to be a kaleidoscopic and panoramic personality.
Now that is the nature of the conversation in one word. Karan didn't go through too much of what we're doing on stage. He said, Rishabh, we'll take the questions as they come. He asked me saying, what is the type of conversation? And I used the words irreverently intellectual. And he's always intellectual, but he's also so funny. And therefore, perhaps we see a little bit of both Rocky and Rani in him. And we'll be waiting for your Prem Kahaani someday to come on cinema.
No, don't wait. Abhi ho gayi umar abhi uski. I mean, now I have my Prem Kahaani begins and ends with my children. That's my Prem Kahaani. And
But Karan, I must ask you this question as well. You said there is, and I've seen this in all your movies, there's always some sort of social commentary, or there is commentary or a message in every movie. You know, it's not something that is directly put out there, but there is that underlying message. And therefore, I wanted to ask all three of you, what is the message that they can take away apart from the entertainment and also apart from the fact that it is going to be a family, a movie that's one can go to theatres with their family. What is the one big takeaway that you think that they can take?
so
But
I
how
think
we can give the takeaway, then how they
No,
have
I'll
to
answer
go to
that.
take it away?
I'll tell you what it is. The
Small
film,
takeaway.
without taking
Pura.
a takeaway, that the film broadly is young at heart but old in spirit. And that's the best way to define it. Also, it's in the trailer. It's brief messaging, but y'all are all too young to probably understand that. But you will enjoy all the fun aspects of the film. But anyone who understands that we as Indians and Asians believe very strongly in the power of family, and we believe that family, when in bad times, in good times, you need the power of family to kind of empower you. And some of us are blessed to have stable, supportive families, and some of us don't have that luxury. Many of you here are young, impressionable minds. Many of you will draw today from the strength you derive from your family, and unfortunately there are many who also don't have the pleasure of that strength. We actually in Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahaani just talk about how powerful it can be for parents to also understand that, we always put an emphasis on how correct parents are and how wrong, the children can be. But there is a thought in Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahaani beyond its love story and its ideological clash. It's also about that if you're a parent, at times you can be wrong too. And you can be actually the grey area in your child's life. So it's very critical for parents to understand, just because आप बड़े हैं, आप बुजुर्ग हैं, लेकिन दिल तोड़ने का हक आपको भी नहीं है.
I think again, I think they'll remove this clip and show it to all the parents.
No, and this is in no way, I'm a parent
No,
myself, Alia's a parent herself.
right.
We all have to know that we are human beings first, and we are also capable of making mistakes. But in the food chain of family, you are always meant to believe that the father, the mother, the elder sibling is always right. Many a time, and I'm sure some of you children, kids and youngsters in the audience will understand that that's not always the truth. We have to know, and so Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahaani scratches the surface of that and says so much more. But otherwise, it's a really funny, entertaining, happy film. And if you draw from it these little tiny gems that may be thrown at you now and then that's great. Otherwise, you can ask yourself the most pivotal question: what chupka?
But I'm glad you mentioned this, that it's also fun, but there are small takeaways as well in this, and therefore I must ask one question to Ranveer and Alia. So, what is that one leadership or life lesson that you learned from playing Rocky, and what you learned from playing Rani that you can pass on to them?
Most certainly, compassion and empathy. Before you write a person off, should always try and give them a chance. Big learning from this guy.
Very well said.
What I learned from Rani, I'm trying to think.
The thing with Alia is, I don't think, and you can answer this after I said, I think that she didn't learn as much as she actually gave to the character, because I think Alia in many ways is Rani.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. So Karan, the way Rani is written and the things she stands for, and the values that she has and the perspective that she has, I agree with 99% of the things that she believes and feels. But there's a slight difference between Rani and me. Is एक चीज होती है कि, and this is not with regards to if you have to stand up for yourself, you have to stand up for yourself, and to hell with the world. Sorry, pardon my language, but to hell, because you have to stand up for yourself. But there's a certain level at which this over opinions constantly giving is not required in a situation where if you can make the matter better, then say something. Otherwise, sometimes it's better to just stay quiet and let the situation handle itself out.
Very well said.
So, not like Rani at all is a negative person, but sometimes you may think that I'm just putting my opinion out there, but you're adding a lot of noise. So the value that maybe I learned from playing that character, and not like Rani was adding noise, was that there's a certain decorum and a certain gentleness with which you can also put your opinion out there and try and make things better, as opposed to just think of where you're coming from.
And actually, in a way, I have to say that that's what Alia brought to the character, and it's entirely, I give her full credit for it. On paper, Rani was heavily opinionated and at parts could have been, if I may say so, not likable, because she was so strong in her opinion. Rani was given sensitivity and understanding by Alia's sheer genius. She understood that she had to do it in a way where she was completely likable. Because Rocky was written as likable, right? And she is a totally different character, but she brought the likability to her character and made it, in a sense, worthy of emulation.
I think in today's day and age, one of the they just love what all of you say, but one of the things that Alia you said so beautifully is the fact that in today's day and age, it's always about giving an opinion even if you don't have an opinion. Because in today's age of social media, and sometimes that can become toxic, everybody has an opinion about everything. And I think it's so important to perhaps take away from that answer that it's okay not to have an opinion, and it's okay not to have an opinion on a particular subject area and say no comments.
No, if the thing is, if you're helping the situation, if you're standing up for something, if you're believing in something, if you need to make your ground heard, go for it. But if you're just adding to noise and just giving an opinion just for the heck of it and not knowing the head or the tail or the middle or the back or the center, why? Why do it? Just read a book.
Read a book.
You know?
But I've always believed a conversation with knowledgeable people is better than reading 100 books. So we've got 3 people, so we've got 300 books in front of us. But before it becomes too serious, we've got the 3 of you together. So, I can't do what he does. Nobody can. But if this were Coffee with Karan, who amongst Rocky and Rani would essentially come out on the top?
Rocky.
No, I disagree. I think rapid fire, Rani would win.
No.
The games, Rani would win.
Rocky would win because he's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, Rocky.
Maybe
would
like
be.
the general knowledge part of it, Rani would win.
Yeah.
Rani, I'm not saying Alia.
Yeah. No, she'd win rapid fire. She'd win the games. I think Rani would win over that.
Is this your lead into a game?
Into a game? Yes, thank you. So how about we find out?
The reason is Rocky would be very distracted. Not really focusing
I'm
on
sorry,
the game.
I'm sorry, but I am drop dead gorgeous. You can't help it.
But how about we find out? We find out who wins Coffee with Karan out here. How about we do that? Yeah? Okay. They've given me cues saying, Rishabh, they want to ask many questions, so keep yours to the minimum. So I will keep mine to the minimum. But if this was Never Have I Ever, and have you guys seen that? You need to either have or have not, right? And we need to do this quickly, and we let them then decide who actually won the game. So never have I ever fallen asleep in class. Never have I ever copied someone's homework. Never have I ever had a crush on a teacher. Never have I ever laughed.
It was first grade.
It was
Miss Melrose McGill from Learners Academy, Bandra. If you're watching this, you still have a very special place in my heart.
How lovely. But never have I ever laughed while shooting a serious scene. Never have I ever bunked classes. You haven't? Wow.
I never bunked school. I loved school. Never bunked a single day, never bunked a single class. Maybe not so much in HR college, but by FYJC, मैं बिगड़ गया था.
I also didn't bunk school. I thought we were talking about general full education.
I didn't go to college, so school.
No, so I bunked in college to see many movies.
You didn't need to go to college. But never have I ever been called to the principal's office.
Mine was for a good reason.
Yours, was it actually to collect a trophy on behalf of everybody or being the best student or something of the sort?
It was actually to be last minute. The boy who was meant to go for inter-school English got typhoid, and they told me, they said, "Can you run now and can you recite a poem?" Because I was called to the principal's office and said, "Go now, in half an hour you have to go to this school to do the preliminary round."
And Karan Johar went and he won. He won.
I'll tell you an aside and a strange story, because in the preliminary round, the person competing with me right next to me was Aditya Chopra, and he was from Bombay, Scottish, and I was from Green Lawns, and both of us. Well done, Bombay, Scottish. Clearly, that's not Green Lawns. Oh, it's Green Lawns? Oh, wow, love you. Okay, so what happened is that he couldn't make it to the finals because he had his prelims, and he keeps telling me that had he been there, he would have won. So we once decided to have a competition in Goa and make Shah Rukh judge it, but it never happened because I think he got cold feet.
And the last one for this game is, never have I ever regretted a hairstyle or an outfit after a public appearance. Ranveer is a clear winner in this. You have? You've regretted wearing an outfit? Now this is a story that I'm sure everyone is interested in knowing.
There was one formal suit that was pretty ghastly, and it was on a discussion, and Mr. Bachchan was present as well. And I was very excited. I thought I was wearing the best suit in the world. So I was like, "Sir, how do I look?" He was like, "Son, you're looking like a plant."
Oh goodness. No, sure. Before we declare the winners, there's a who's more likely, which is the part 2 of this. So we'll run this quickly. Who's more likely to plan a surprise romantic date between the three of you? Who's most likely to fight the world for love?
Fight the world for love.
Who's more likely to create a public scene while fighting? And between Rocky and Rani, who is more likely to apologize first after an argument? The final question, because we are going back to school, who's more likely to have been the teacher's pet? So now,
Karan. Sorry, I take it. Sorry, Karan, I give it to you.
Karan should, yes, he's aced everything, so, but you were.
Complete front row, annoying to other students, teachers' pet.
You are the Hermione Granger of school and college. But let me ask you, so between Rocky, Rani and the principal of the school, who is the winner? Okay, let's make noise if you think Ranveer Singh won this.
You don't need to move to Alia and Karan, he has won it.
Okay.
We are giving it to him, we want him to win. You are a winner, baby. A winner.
Thank you.
And the prize is not a hamper. We can't give a hamper like his. But the prize is some...
कुछ तो देना पड़ेगा आपको.
Prize is the young people are going to ask you a lot of questions.
अभी गेम खिलवाया और सब प्राइज भी नहीं देंगे मैडम, ये देखो ऐसे क्या यार, मुझे नहीं जीतना ये सब. Okay, so here's a life lesson. Okay. Whether you win or lose,
Playing the game is important.
there you go.
Playing the game is important. We got a special prize which we can't give in front of everybody, so we'll give that to you.
ये कौन सा special prize है भाई?
Can't mention. This is a secret one can't mention. No, there's nothing at all. But all of them are incredibly sweet to just take out time and essentially come out here. So thank you to all three of them for coming. But before we let them, before we let them go, there are lots of questions that are there from the audience for the three of you. So let's open it up first to the students who are in front of us, and then we'll go to the rest of the country as well. So, yes, Rutva, we have a question.
Good afternoon, Alia ma'am, Ranveer sir and Karan sir. I would like to begin with thanking the IIMUN for providing me with this opportunity through the Back to School series. I am Nidhi Chavla from Sacred Heart School, Kalyan, and my question for you all is, when we think of the cinema as an industry, it is the glitz and the glamour that pops up in our minds. But there is also a downside, a negative aspect to the industry, to the people associated with this industry, be it the box office pressure or the media or the trolls. So what advice would you like to give to us students about the setbacks that we may have in our life, in our future?
Number one, what's your name?
Nidhi Chavla.
Nidhi. Correct?
Yes, yes.
Nidhi. So something that I learned, and very early on, it just happened through open dialogue and conversation in my house. Life is hard, yeah. That's basically it. It's not industry, it's not anything. You have ups, you have downs. You just have to keep a grateful heart and take each day as it comes and not put too much pressure on yourself to ace everything. I think one of the things that Karan said is the most important three words that we don't say is I don't know, I messed up, I'm not right, I could be wrong. And if you are right and if you've not messed up and you do know, then anybody saying anything doesn't matter because you know you're right. Vis-a-vis box office, I think that's something that as an industry we will always feel very, very responsible about because we know that our audience spends their hard-earned money and comes to watch our movie. So it's our responsibility to entertain them. So that pressure we willingly take. Because if we don't take that pressure, then we will not be responsible and we will not put our 150% every day. I suddenly lost some sort of ringing started in my ear.
Thank you so much.
Super. Yes, the next. Thank you, Aditi. And
Good afternoon, Rishabh sir, Karan sir, Alia ma'am and Ranveer sir. My name is Zidan Castellino. I'm 14 years old. I'm one of India's youngest climate activists and I study in Don Bosco High School, Borivali West. I would like to especially
How's the
thank-
football team doing, bro?
Football team is doing awesome.
Yeah. Don Bosco hai, karegi awesome. Fierce competitors in football, Don Bosco.
I would like to thank IMUN and my school and Rishabh sir for this opportunity. I would like to start by saying, how do you all feel that, as influential people in the entertainment industry, that Bollywood can play a role in promoting campaigns, in promoting a good campaign for many such initiatives like mental health, gender equality, and an issue which really deserves our attention, which is climate change and environment and sustainability. From Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahaani, what do you feel is your message that you aim to not just give to us students, not just to our city, but to the full world?
Baba, what did you say your name was?
Zidan.
Zidane from Don Bosco.
Zidane.
Zidane. Zidane, it's critical to know that while films are a mode of entertainment they're also very impressionable, and it's critical for filmmakers to always have something to say. Like I said previously, perhaps coated with entertainment, perhaps coated with cinematicness, but eventually you've got to say something. I think the one thing that plagues our society is male privilege. It's very critical that that we address it, not only as a society, but also understand it in families, that male entitlement and male privilege is one thing that constantly, as I said, plagues us, but also can really be impressionable to the mind of the young boy and girl in the house, or either. This is one thing that Rocky or Rani Kii Prem Kahaani addresses, is male privilege, male entitlement, and how it can actually be the fulcrum of disaster in a household. Of course, this sounds loaded, but it's coming through in the most accurate manner ever in this film.
I hope that
I'd like to end by saying that you all are really a big inspiration to me, and I just hope to work with you on something.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, God bless you. God bless you, Singh.
So sweet. So, but let's go to one final question from Bombay before we open up to questions from across the country.
ये जो माइक में जो मोहतरमा बोल रही हैं,
Good morning.
हेलो गुड मॉर्निंग.
Good morning, Rishabh sir. Good morning to everyone present here. Karan sir, Alia ma'am, Ranveer sir. So,
Good afternoon to you.
yeah, good afternoon. I'm so sorry. I'm Kalpana Joshi from NL Dalmia High School, and we are so thrilled to meet you here today. We have been jumping literally and dancing all the way. We've come from Meera Road today just to see you guys, our Rocky and Rani in real life. So my question to you guys today is, what challenges did you face while making the movie when you're working with such diverse teams who have so many different perspectives? So how did you handle them, and were there any fun incidents or any incidents at all that you would like to share?
Go, Rocky.
Well, every day was a delight. Only have fond memories. A great honor and a privilege to be collaborating with some of the finest talents in the world of cinema, some stalwarts of our industry. That was a huge deal for me, to be sharing screen space with Dharminder, Jaya Bachchan, Shabana Azmi. For an actor like me, that's straight out of a dream. It's like, I can't describe to you what it means to me to be sharing screen space with the people who have inspired you to actually do this. And they're such fine actors, so much to learn from them. But even so, with Karan around, there's always a humor, there's always a lightness of being. There were a lot of young people on our set, so it was a very high energy, a lot of rib tickling, back slapping, born homie, camaraderie. It was like a bunch of friends coming together to create something from the heart, you know. Everybody came with such good energy, positivity and good intentions. I only have the best and fondest memories, and you know, it's like 10 years, 20 years down the line, that's all I'll be left with. The memory of my experience and the moments and memories that we created when we were collaborating on set.
And I have to add to that it was all fun and lovely and all that, but we did feel very bad for what we put Alia through in Kashmir in sub-zero temperatures. She was in a chiffon sari. It's just something that I wanted to do as a homage to Yash Chopra, but we don't realize, you know, when you call it the world of glamour and glitter, but being in -2, -3, -4 degrees in a chiffon sari and then having to emote, look pretty, is not easy. And while you might diss it and say, oh, who does this kind of song in this day and age, I will still very proudly say that I'm very happy I did this for Yash uncle, and I did this for myself as his biggest fan. But my apologies for putting you through it, only because we were also guilty, because like Ranveer was in like puffed jackets, but to give credit to him that he was equally empathetic for what she was
Yeah,
going
I was just
through.
gonna say that, like, all the puff jackets in between takes were coming on to me only.
Yeah.
And he was like, everybody was doing everything to keep
Okay,
me
but
comfortable.
this is really about what Alia and the way she went about it, I must say, displayed exemplary leadership skills. She's very aware of the fact that she is a leader on that set and she was a trooper. You know, it's not that everybody, it was really cold. Let me tell you, I was wearing like 3 layers and I was still freezing. Everybody in the crew, it's like our toes were freezing walking in that snow. And I was wearing snow boots, so you can only imagine what it must
And
be
then to
like
lip
for her.
sync a song,
Yeah.
especially say Phagun ke mausam tum kya mile. His Phagun was not coming out
And
when it was that
every
cold.
step of the way, you know, everybody was concerned about Alia. Alia, are you okay? She was like, yeah, I'm good. Let's go, let's go, let's go. It's like you don't realize
That's amazing, yeah. That's
sometimes
really amazing.
the blood, sweat, and tears that go into this. And props to Alia Bhatt for being an absolute trooper and a cheerleader.
Well, we see the final product, right? But so much is
Tum kya mil? It's very difficult. Yeah. It's very cold.
no, but we see the final product and we feel so happy and we feel proud of seeing the final product. And we enjoy it. But there's so much that goes into the entire movie, and this thing that you've just shared, I mean, that just shows the amount of effort that goes behind every scene in every movie. But rather than me asking questions, and rather than only Bombay, I'm sorry, Bombay, but Mumbai, we will come back to you if time permits, so don't worry about it, we'll come back to you.
We'll come back, we'll come back.
But let me go across the country, because there are very many across the country who want to ask questions. If we can just highlight them and let them ask their question, that'll be super.
Hi.
Hi, Ranveer.
Hi.
This is Anuja. Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. First of all, I would like to thank IMUN for this opportunity through the series of Back to School. So my question is for Ranveer sir. Sir, what would be the piece of advice that you will give from the character you played as Rocky to the students so that they will remember it and follow it as a mantra of a lifetime?
We've covered some part of it.
But I would say, try not to judge somebody. Try not to be too quick to judge. You know, try and understand why they're doing what they're doing, and really give them a chance. So don't be too judgmental of people. I try consciously. You know, in the world that we live in today, you're predisposed towards judging others. I, over the years, have tried consciously to cultivate good habits in that I try not to judge people. I try to understand and give them the benefit of the doubt before arriving at a judgment.
Right, no, super. Bombay, we need to pay attention to what the rest of the country is saying. Right, so let's go to the next question as well. They've been patiently listening to us, and let's highlight. Super.
Collective greetings to all the esteemed panelists, Mr. Karan Johar, Mr. Ranveer Singh, and Ms. Alia Bhatt. Namaste, my name is Pragya Talwar, and I represent Cambridge International School, Mohal, Kullu, Himachal Pradesh. I would really like to thank IIMUN for this wonderful opportunity of Back to the School series. So, my question to you is, Karan sir as a director and Ranveer sir and Alia ma'am as actors, how would you like to choose stories, and what kind of stories you would reflect on the silver screen more?
What kind of stories do you choose, and how do you choose these stories?
I think stories are born within writers and filmmakers, and it's as per, I think, their understanding of human relationships and their surroundings. Some want to make statements politically, some emotionally, some romantically. It really depends on the creative choice the artist takes, which could be writer, director, and then the depiction of that material is then up to the actor, which they do with their expertise. So it really is the stories you choose has a lot to do with each individual. It's not something you can put into one generalized box.
from Kulu. Thank you. And then
Thank you.
from Kulu we move on to the next.
Thank you. Dear friend from Kulu. And Jammu and Kashmir.
Yeah, we can perhaps.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
We have somebody from Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh. Hello. Hello, young lady. Good afternoon to you.
Jai Johar Rishabh sir, Jai Johar Karan sir, Jai Johar Alia ma'am and Jai Johar Ranveer sir. Jai Johar कहना मतलब मैं छत्तीसगढ़ करेवाली वर्क स्कूल बिलासपुर से आप सभी के स्वागत करती हूँ. I am Ananya Yadav and I am honored to represent Karan World School Bilaspur, Chhattisgarh in front of Karan sir, Ranveer sir, Alia ma'am and other guests. My heartfelt thanks to Indian International Movement to Unite Nations, IIMUN Back to School series for giving us such a wonderful opportunity to be in front of you all. As you all know that today we have respected Bollywood icons Alia Bhatt, Karan Johar and Ranveer Singh between us. My question is to either Alia ma'am or Ranveer sir. Which skills are we to take care of during school years if someone wishes to pursue a career in the film industry? Can you get some suggestions?
Something about a career in the film industry.
You got it right. And something about skills as well. So what skills are needed in order to, that one should pay attention to whilst one is in school in order to become a successful actor or a director? From the question that, have I hopefully got it right? Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think put yourself up to as much competition as possible continuously. That's something that I did, whether it was elocution, whether it was dramatics, whether it was any physical activity, a sport, whatever it was, painting, art. I was always participating in competitions because somewhere you have to have that competitive spirit to keep going. Somewhere you have to have that discipline to keep going. And it will also help kind of find that creative side in you. And this next piece of advice I'm going to give is not something that maybe teachers would love a lot, but I would daydream a lot in class and spend a lot of time in my head. So if you have a creative bone, don't be afraid to kind of get lost in your own mind and your own creativity, because that's just also the beauty of, you know, being a creative person, whether you're a writer, director, you know, actor, anything, is that you can just create this imaginary world and live in it.
I really like that answer. You must really participate in everything. Debate, drama, elocution, sport. And you know what else it will do? Is that it will help you find what you really love. It was when I participated in the plays and the dance performances, I realized, oh, I love this more than I love cricket and football. And I also, when I thought it was going to be a bit far-fetched for me to try and get a foot in the door in movies, I also tried to become a copywriter. And that too was through participating in a school competition, is how I realized, oh, this is something you can do for a living. It was a unique one-off competition. They'd give you a product, they'll be like, write a tagline for it or give it a name or something. And I won that competition and I was like, wow, this was a lot of fun. And then I was pursuing copywriting for 4 years. So when you participate in an array of things, I participated in everything. Swimming, table tennis, squash, cricket, football, athletics, debate, drama, elocution. When you participate in everything, at some point you will find your what you really love and what will ignite a passion in you. And listen to your heart at that point. When you find that, listen to your heart and believe that you will be successful if you pursue your passion.
Very well said, because it's not boxing people. And you know, sometimes it happens that when especially in Bombay and I'm sure across the country as well, when we get a chance to interact with the parents, and now that I've got a few white hair, when I talk to them, that time they've already decided, saying, no, my son or daughter should already be either a Ranveer Singh or an Alia Bhatt, or say for example, be a scientist or be a chartered accountant, and it's already decided. But what you said is so important, that they should go out there and explore and learn for themselves. And that, I think, is also a very important message to all the parents, and they can take it back to their parents, which I'm sure they will very happily. But let me take one final question from across the country.
A warm afternoon to everyone, the luminaries of Indian cinema. I am Arpita Das, head girl, Vikas Residential School, Bargarh, Odisha. It is a K-12 school consisting of 2,800 students. Cinemas have always been instrumental in social change and in many ways. My question to Alia ma'am, Ranveer sir and Karan sir is, how can cinema be career to the history, culture and heritage of India, holding the rootedness in India without distorting the actual facts? My question carries all my queries.
Culture, career, I have it written. So that just in case it was about culture and career, and how essentially cinema plays a role in terms of being a culture, spreading the culture of India.
Head girl, no less. Hello, good afternoon to you. आपको पता है मैं भी head boy हुआ करता था. That's right.
You were head boy?
You were head boy?
कच्चे खिलाड़ी नहीं हैं हम. I was head boy.
Wow. So how can cinema play a big role in ensuring that Indian culture is spread across the world? I'm going to paraphrase that and going to ask you the question.
I think there are so many filmmakers that have actually preserved the culture of our rich heritage in our cinema. Of course, many a time our films have been a mode of entertainment and have not really deeply dived into. But if you go right from the yore, if you go right from the times of Guru Dutt, who made strong social commentary, but yet spoke about Satyajit Ray, depicted culture so beautifully, right down to Raj Kapoor, who talked about tradition and culture and family and household dynamics and politics. Suraj Bharjatya, who preserved Indian culture in his way. Sanjay Bansali, through the ethnicity of so many. I'm not speaking for myself, but I think right from Guru Dutt, right up to Sanjay Leela Bansali, there been doyens of cultural preservation, and they've done it through their music, through their characters, through their costume, through their emotions. So I think that so many filmmakers have to be given a lot of due credit for how they have preserved, not just through their artistry, but also through their intention. And so, yeah.
Oh, lovely. And Rocky and Rani is a celebration of Indian cinema and a celebration of culture and a celebration of family values that families can now go back and essentially watch and see. But before you go, we've got a small little surprise. I have 90...
Oh, but before you go, we have to tell everybody that we are very honored and very privileged to be here, right in front of all of you at Shanmukh Nanda Hall. All of you represent, each one of you, the 50,000 students that we've been communicating through the country, the 3,000 that stand tall here. Literally, when I say this, you are the future of our great nation. And you should feel very proud that you will be shape makers and image makers of our great nation. And while you have such prolific thoughts, make sure that you go and watch our film on the 28th of July. How many of you really want to see the film? Alright, I know you all are polite and well brought up, so you all are saying it, but I'm not going to be polite and say, please go and watch our film. Take your family, friends with you, because this is a movie you cannot miss for various reasons. Also, you have to know that Rishabh here is such an absolutely amazing and iconic young man. And his vision. I love you all. All of them have made this into a rock concert, but rock is Rocky and Rishabh is rocking himself. And I just think He understood at a young age about the power of the youth and how they form the fabric of our nation, meter by meter, person by person. And thank you, Rishabh, for calling us, inviting us, and also for always being not only charming and funny, but also so full of heart at every given point of time. This organization is hugely benefited by your absolute DNA. And thank you for being here.
Thank you, Karan, for such kind words. He's given a better vote of thanks than anybody can give a vote of thanks, so one can't better this. But one promise, and the one thing that I can say on behalf of all of us, and I want you to make some noise if it's actually true, that the 50,000 who are on the screen and the 3,000 who are here are going and watching this movie because we absolutely love the three of them. Is that correct? And honestly, I must say this, and at the risk of, before the surprise, I must say this, that Karan, right from school, we've grown up watching your movies. And now, like Ranveer and Alia keep saying, that it's just an honor to be in a movie that is directed by you. The same way, it's an honor to be on the same stage as you are. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one final time, Ranveer Singh, Alia Bhatt, and Karan Johar. And I have it. And we have. I have 17 left feet, but we've prepared, all of us, along with a beautiful choreographer, has prepared something for you. So, why don't you come up? Why don't you come here and then help? And why don't all of us stand up and the surprise that we so beautifully prepared? Come on, it's okay.
you so much. We had so much fun. I don't even know how time went by. And this is what we do this for, to connect with you all. We love you so much from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you. Thank you, and I hope you go watch the movie, but I hope more that when you watch the movie, you enjoy yourself. Lots of love. You want to dance one more time? Okay.
बीच बाजारी जब हुस्न दिखाने जाएगी होश उड़ाने वाली शौक नजर के जो पेच लड़ाने